Getting into it now. Yesterday, the release of the final trailer for Batman vs. Superman blew up the internet with tons of positive reactions, including from our own Collider Movie Talk crew. Now, a report over at our friends at Hitfix claimed that the Warner Brothers DC lineup may be in trouble. Roth Cornet, a frequent guest and friend of Collider Movie Talk, chatted with fellow Hitfix writer Drew McWeeney and his thoughts about the trailer, which led to these comments from McWeeney. Warner is a little bit worried. This movie is starting to scare them, and it's scaring them because they're showing it to people now. People are actually laying eyes on the film, and the response has not been exactly what I think they wanted. I would be surprised if Justice League starts shooting when they say it's going to. I would be equally surprised if Zach Snyder directed it. My guess is what is going to happen is that Justice League is going to get moved back, and that Ben Affleck Batman movie, that's going to be what ends up in that spot. Dennis, do you think these rumors are true, and is the DC movie lineup in trouble?
Well, first of all, you know, we get a lot of rumors all through the week, some credible, some not credible. So a couple reasons why we're covering this one is, first of all, every other email and tweet that we were getting starting from last night was about this.
Yep.
Everyone's like, is this true? Is the DC Cinematic Universe in trouble? And then secondly, of where it's coming from. This is coming from Hitfix, a reliable source. This isn't Cosmic Book News or
Right.
Movie Pilot or whatever. This is from people that we know and trust. Drew McWeeney is a respected online journalist. I'm friends with Roth Cornet. I texted with her after this thing kind of blew up last night. It went everywhere. I texted with her and she told me, like, they made sure with Drew that they checked that, say, okay, are you sure your sources are reliable? And he said they were solid. And for them to run this video and this story, that means they truly believe this is the case. Now, onto what actually was said, I don't think it's as damaging or as bad as people are making it out to be. What he really said in it was Batman v Superman might not be as good as we're expecting it to be, and maybe not as good as Warner Brothers expecting it to. Maybe they're expecting it to crush it. It's going to be great. It's going to blow everything out. Maybe the response to it was just, oh, people liked it, but they didn't like love it. So I'm not so sure if the sky is falling yet. I just think that there's a lot of things to take in consideration because, you know, the quality of a movie doesn't always mean the box office success, right? Like sometimes a movie can be great and can have really bad box office. Or in the case of, let's say, Transformers, it can be a poor movie that does very, very well and they keep making them. So I don't think this is the end of the world. Christian, what do you think?
Well, first of all, the first thing to say about Drew McWeeney, who I also know pretty well too, there's times I've spoken to Drew and he's said things months before they've been reported on and they've been dead on accurate. There's been other times and he's not been. Now, the one thing I will say that he's probably heard from sources that have seen the movie that they didn't think it was good and they were scared and then he probably made the prediction of, well, they'll probably move it if they're not happy with Snyder. But what they're not counting on are the fans, because you can look at a fan reaction as opposed to a studio executive's reaction, and a studio executive, well, the fans might not respond to this the way we want them to. Wait till the movie comes out before we say, oh, Snyder's not going to be on this and this person's not going to be doing. They're going to push the slate. We don't know anything. We know the last thing that we know is that we just saw this trailer that dropped yesterday. It was phenomenal. The hype is back up. Certainly is for me because I was bummed out at the last trailer. They showed me that what they're going to focus on, at least the first half of the movie. You and I were just talking about this. It felt like if Tyson would have fought Holyfield in 91, that's the trailer I got yesterday. That's what I want to see. I'm excited for it. So as far as them moving back the slate and all that, let's see what happens after the movie drops. Then we can start speculating. Now it's too easy to say, well, there were 10 guys in suits who didn't like it and thought, we're going to have to move it now. What do they know? Because these people that are watching right now and us, we haven't seen the movie yet. The ones who are really super hyped, those are the guys worried about the decisions and whether or not it's going to make a lot of money. We're the people that are going to say, wait a minute, this movie is awesome. It delivered on the scale we wanted to. Where's Justice League? Let Snyder do it. So it's too early to say that these predictions can and cannot happen.
Jason?
Agreed. Because he says this other statement in the video that kind of worried me, where he said that he thought the whole DC movie schedule was a reaction to panic, and I'm like, no studio puts Aquaman in that lineup if you're panicked. I mean, because Aquaman is the guy who talks to fish, and everybody's worried about that guy. So why would you make a movie about that guy if you're worried about these movies not working? I agree, and I also think like the hype is back up, and Batman v Superman has something that a lot of other comic book movies don't have, and I always judge it by my little old mother. I love her; she's great. She lives in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. but she actually told me over Christmas that she is going to see Batman v Superman, and I was like, why? You don't like comic book movies, you don't like science fiction movies, why are you going to see this movie? And she's like, I know who Batman and Superman are.
Yeah.
She doesn't know who any of the rest of the heroes are. And so they have her money. And so I'm just like, I wonder for the rest of middle America how much that transcends, where people are like, well, I know Batman and Superman, so I'm there.
These are arguably the two most popular superheroes of all time. I don't care what Marvel has. I'm a big Marvel fan, but these are the two most iconic.
The Titans.
They're good. That's why I brought up that Tyson and Holyfield comparison, because these are the two best, and we get to see them fight. We all know that they're going to team up later, and the Justice League's going to come. We know that, and we saw it in the trailer, unfortunately, last time, but we knew it anyway. But now, after you're seeing, okay, wait a minute, that's the Batman we're going to see, that mobile Batman that can really fight and do what we wanted to see him do, even though he's a little older, and why they have this struggle and conflict. That's what I saw so far in the trailer. So I don't know. I just don't trust a bunch of guys going, it does not play in the way I want it to do, and the toys aren't going to sell.
And also, if they actually do the things that he rumors, like if they move Justice League back and they put Batman forward and they decide to go with a different director for Justice League, I also don't think that's such a bad thing either, because, we've had, so far be 2 movies in with Zach Snyder, and sometimes in a universe type this, like a cinematic universe, it's nice to get a different flavor.
Right.
So to throw it at a different director who's just as strong as Zack Snyder,
stronger, I think.
or stronger,
Yeah.
wouldn't be a bad thing.
I think they could spin that on its head too, and I think what they wanted to do there is, like, let's say that Ben Affleck's Batman just crushed, and people think that from what he does in this movie, they want to see more of him. They're like, well, we're going to hold off on Justice League just a little bit because we want to show more of the Batman story. That, even if they feel like they want to move Snyder off of it and do something too, they could still play it to where it's like, let's get the Batman movie in there first, and we probably will all want that anyway, because I'd like to see, come on, a Ben Affleck directed Batman standalone film or standalone trilogy. Yes, please.
Especially with the rumor started is that if it's based on that amazing DC Comics storyline Under the Red Hood, which is what the rumors are saying right now. That's what that movie's based on. That story is amazing. And in a movie form, that movie would kill.
Yeah, and I'm with you where we have to wait and see what the box office is, because let's say it comes out and it kills it at the box office, then Warner Bros. Is going to be, what we were worried about, and then everything just goes ahead as planned. But if, let's say, it comes out and it's maybe lukewarm response and people, they go see it, but it's not as, the numbers aren't there. Like, kind of like, remember with Amazing Spider-Man 2, they thought like, we're going to get a lot of, but the critical
they were going to
reaction,
make like a Sinister Six
yeah,
universe.
all that
Right.
stuff, and it kind of halted all that stuff. Maybe that happens, and we get that situation where they do Batman first. I mean, Drew in that video did say like that the things that he's been hearing is that Ben Affleck is great as Batman, and so is Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Like, maybe they just want, like you said, want to emphasize Batman in his movie coming out before Justice League. I always was of the opinion before that I felt like they should have done all these solo movies before doing Justice League anyway. I
was too for a while, but then they're behind in regards to what Marvel's doing right now. They're just behind, and look at it. Like, we've got Batman v Superman now, then we have Civil War. I think it's kind of smart for them to do it first, because originally I was like, why don't we get a Man of Steel sequel first and then a Batman movie, set it up first. Unfortunately, they don't have the time to do it. So I think that the way that they're doing it actually right now kind of works. I think it works to where they set up the two icons going at it, and then you get Suicide Squad, and then Wonder Woman, and then Aquaman, and then you come in for Justice League. I think then by that time when we finally get Justice League, I think it could work, because I think that's the Avengers. Their Avengers doesn't come out until maybe it'll get pushed now.
And I agree with that too. Like, I've always been for, like, I have no problem with them going to Justice League, because some of DC's characters are a little strange. They're weird aliens. They're half cyborg characters. They're the king of Atlantis. And I feel that sometimes introducing them in a solo movie first would be a mistake. Whereas if you introduce them in the team, make the world be like, man, that guy with the beard and a trident's really cool. Right. I want to see his movie now. It's the better move.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what we said about Thor too. We're like, we don't know if Thor's gonna, go over with a mainstream audience. It's kind of weird, a little stranger than what we're used to with Iron Man.
But the difference, I would say, is that most of the Avengers are mortals that get like radiation and get a power, whereas most of DC's characters are almost gods. Like, it's the king of Atlantis. It's a space cop with the most powerful weapon on his, a guy who can run at the speed of light. They're hard to relate to. You can't start off at a human base. You have to start from a base of wonder.
Okay, here's the question though. So let's say, I don't know, whatever happens, but they decide to push Batman the solo film first. Let's say Ben Affleck, he's going to star in it, and let's say he's directing it. It kills. Should Ben Affleck direct Justice League instead of Zack Snyder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at Collider.